Hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah chaka, hookah, hookah, hookah. Hello, everyone. In a very sad mood today. My good friend Kurt Lemon just stepped on a landmine. I'm sure you guys don't know who I'm talking about. But if you're watching this, like 7 or 8 months in the future, you'll know who I'm talking about. But I guess I gotta push on through, because I gotta teach you guys about clauses. Not the Santa kind, the English 11 kind. Every clause has two things, a subject and a verb. Now, let's time travel back in time to when we learned about subjects and verbs. A subject is the person, place, or thing that functions in a clause. Like Brian. Brian could be a subject. Or Holden, who's back there. He could be a subject. Second thing, the verb is the action taking place. So if you were to be told to do something, like you could run around, or point at something, or yell at someone. Those are all possible actions that are the verb in said clause. To be verbs! Is, are, was, were, am. All verbs. Boom.
Now you will learn what independent clauses are. Pay attention. What you need to know about an independent clause is, it's a complete thought. It contains what all sentences need in the English language, a subject and a verb, and they must agree. Without it, it's not a sentence. The way you can tell it's an independent clause is, you can walk up to somebody random and tell them like, hey, I like chicken. And it'll make sense because it's an independent clause.
Now time for some examples. Okay, first example. The whale swam freely in the calm ocean. And while that's a beautiful, beautiful image, we got some work to do. The first thing you gotta do when looking at this sentence is identify the subject, which happens to be the freely swimming whale. So the next thing we gotta do is see what action our friend the whale here is completing. And what's he doing? He's swimming. Now if you guessed all of that correct before I even told you, then you deserve an A+. Not just in English 11, but in life. Now on to the next one. Mr. A is a cool dude. The subject in this one is obviously Mr. A, because he's the subject. And here's where we go crazy with our verb. Which what is it? It's is. Is our verb. It's a to be verb. Is the verb.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is another clause called the dependent clause. Now, what is a dependent clause? Well, a dependent clause is a clause or subordinate clause, and it means it cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. It's an incomplete thought. It is usually kind of short, and if you were to walk up to somebody and tell them a dependent clause, they'd be very confused. It's not a good way to start a conversation. It's not a good way to keep a conversation. It's like almost a conversation ender. Alright, so as you probably know, like an independent clause, a dependent clause also has to have a subject and a verb for it to be there. Okay, now for some examples, because he was too short. Our subject is he, and our verb is was. Unless you want to go. The subject is you and the verb is go. Both of those are incomplete thoughts.